I don't know why all my stuff is coming up in German when I got it English. Oh, okay.
Everybody listen. Turn those cameras around so the folks can see you. Ah, yeah, feels good. Now this song is for all the ladies. And you fellas, listen, you might learn something. Because this is the way we talk to you. Have mercy. Come on, put those fingers. Oh, I see you. Ooh. Never knew how much I loved you. Never knew how much I cared. When you put your arms around me, I get fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever. Oh, ooh. When you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night. Where are those fingers? Moonlight of the night. My eyes light up when you call my name. I know you're gonna treat me right. You give me fever. Finger looking good. Fever. Fever all through. Yeah. Listen to me, baby. Hear every word I say. No one's gonna love you the way I do. They don't know how to love you my way.
Whoa.
You give me fever. Finger looking good. Fever. Oh, fever. I don't hear the fingers. I don't hear the fingers. Come on. Everybody. Have
I feel like we didn't see enough of that one. But anyway, let's start off talking. This is my guest, Janice Harrington, or are you known as Jan Harrington or is it
As
Janice?
well. Well, Jan, my mother always called me, but in Europe, Jan is a Jan is Jan, it's a boy's name.
That's right.
And everybody says, why don't you call yourself Janice? But okay, you call me what you want, Kathy. Jan, Janice, sweetie, baby, it's all right.
Okay, cool, man. How about man?
Okay, now, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line. So it's so great to have you on, and we got our technical stuff out of the way finally, and
Wait.
and Janice is in Germany, right? What part of Germany do you live in?
We're living in the Lüneburger Heide, actually a little outside that city, which is 60 kilometers south of Hamburg. So we're in the
Okay,
north. Flat,
yeah,
no mountains, but a lot of beautiful Haida. It's a beautiful purple flower.
cool. I've been to Hamburg,
How long ago was that?
long time ago. Long time ago, something
Well, you're
I,
supposed to come back.
I know, maybe 30 years ago or something,
Okay.
when I was
Come
traveling.
back and let's do a concert together.
I'd love that.
Yeah. Do a workshop. You're teaching voice.
I'd love that too. I'd love that.
Okay. We got to
Yeah.
talk
You,
about
you ever
that.
come this way?
I'm planning on coming next year. for 3 months, hopefully March, April, and May. Just hired a publicist
In
to,
2023?
yeah. And I'm hoping to get some gigs. Got to work on it.
I'll help. I'll help. And a workshop.
Thank you.
I definitely can set you up with a workshop too.
Well, the workshops that I'm doing are with children now
Oh,
because I'm not a voice teacher like you, but I can teach young kids a lot.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's
So
cool.
we make workshops in schools,
Yeah,
with young children and teenagers.
yeah, yeah. Well, you never know. You put it out there and then stuff gets created, right?
That's true. That's true.
My first question, I'm just curious how long I have a little bit of your bio here, but how long have you lived over there?
I came in 1980,
Ah.
had a disco band. I thought I was Donna Summers. You know?
Were you?
Well, no. But that was the queen of the day, Donna Summers. And so
Yeah.
our band actually had just come back from Japan on a tour. And then we were in Vegas, and an agent had come to book a Mexican band for Switzerland
Oh.
for a chain of clubs called Hazyland. And found out the band didn't have passports. And, of course, it was a beautiful opportunity for me because I always wanted to come to Germany or come to Europe.
Yeah.
So we came in 1980 and went to Norway. And I went there for this one job and wound up just not really coming back to live anymore.
And there you go. Well, I don't blame you at all. I mean, if I had had a different kind of a life, probably relationships, I guess, I would have definitely stayed in Europe. I think Europe has a great feel,
Oh,
and it's just
yes,
fun to work there, It's just
it
great.
is.
Yeah.
The people really take care of the music. Even the
Yeah.
old time jazz, blues is still popular. There's still festivals that support this kind of music.
That's great to know. Yeah, that's really great. Are you touring now because of the pandemic stuff? Are you still touring?
Oh, well, 2 years I didn't tour like nobody else. I did a few live streams, but it's not really my thing, without the audience.
Yeah.
And now I'm back on the road, and more happening now than before because of the new CD that I decided to do.
Oh,
It's actually old songs that I had recorded before, but I'm not going to get ahead of my story because I am 80 years old and I forget. Okay, so if I start doing it in pieces, I'm not going to have a thread going here. So I'll just wait and come back to that later.
well, it's okay. This is a very casual hang, so we can talk about anything we want in any order.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you sing great.
Thank you.
You sound great. Your persona, your relationship with the band and the audience is really great. So
Thank
natural
you.
and fantastic. Yeah.
You
So
said the magic word, relationship with the band, because this is one of the things I tell singers,
yeah,
check your ego at the door
yeah,
and be ready with those charts,
yep,
unless it's going to just be a jam, but be ready with your music and become part of the band. I mean, you're also an instrumentalist. Your voice is an instrument. So don't go in with the diva attitude, is what I tell them.
yeah. You know, I mean, that's professional.
Yes.
And a singer is not an outside piece. A singer is
Right.
another instrumentalist. You just happen to
Right.
sing, just
Yep.
like a piano player plays piano, you know.
Right.
And yeah, I have mostly I teach older people, but the younger people, because they're young, they're distracted. They don't get
Yeah.
it yet. They don't get
Yeah.
unless they're that rare kid who's like an old soul, who
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, it's like it's hard to get. I have one student right now. She's 15. she's a very good singer, but she isn't quite aware yet that it's a group, it's a group
Right,
thing, it's
right.
fun. It's,
Yes.
that's the whole, that's why we're
Mhm,
doing it, because it's
mhm.
fun and great.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to try and get into a young person's head, and convince them of all that stuff. Do
My
you?
least favorite group, of course, are those 15-year-olds because you have to go in there and read them first
Yeah,
and then teach them.
yeah. Well, we mentioned teaching younger people. So do you do that too a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, Basically, my favorite group is very young, the fourth and fifth graders, because they're like little sponges. They don't know anything, basically.
yeah.
And they're very open to whatever we have going for them. So I kind of invented a few things to catch the attention of the boys because the girls are always with you, but the boys, you know how they are. Their attention span is like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I developed. Uh, it's a short thing, I'll just say, okay, who can do a beatbox? And
Ah.
that, yeah. And usually I can find one. If not, my guitarist does a beatbox. And when he starts the beatbox, then I'll kind of put a little rap that I wrote on top, like,
Mm.
hey, everybody, here we come. We got the rhythm and the body getting ready to burn. Come and join the action if you want to do the break. Otherwise, stand clear, let the action take place. Rock a body, something down the street. Watch the hips gonna hop, gonna swing with the beat. Rock all night till 4:15. When the sun comes out, you're gonna ask for more gospel. Oh, when the saints, you know.
Wow, I want to be in your class.
And then, of course, when we're into that, teaching them to clap on two and four, the European people really have to learn to clap on two and four. you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Then we will do like, I'll demonstrate the ham bone. Remember the ham bone?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't even know about it because it's so old school.
Yeah.
But, when I do that, they'll say, hey, show me, you know, the ham bone, you're doing it with your, here,
Yeah. Oh, that would kids really like
oh,
that, huh?
whoops.
Kids really like that, right?
Oh, yeah, they do. You
Yeah.
catch them then, and then you can do almost anything with them, and they're ready to work.
That's great. I need information like that to teach kids. I have two grandchildren or four grandchildren that I really want to incorporate that into, and I just
Yeah.
I approach it differently, which I think that's actually better. It's something that
Okay.
they can do and get involved in,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
It's easy. I'll show you.
okay.
I'll send you a video.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. I have a friend who does drum circles for children,
That's
and
great.
she's very extremely lively and
Hmm.
rhythmic, and they love it. The kids love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. My guitar player also is a drummer, so we bring in the cajon when they have it,
Yeah,
and this is so important
yeah,
to teach rhythm
yeah,
because over here is totally different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I have a few people saying hi. You probably don't know them, but yeah, Roland says, "Boy, she can really beatbox." And
Thanks, Roland.
he said you must be fluent in German by now. I'm sure.
Oh, come on. Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, aber nicht so viel. Aber I can sing Guten Abend, gute Nacht, mit Rosen bedacht. Okay.
Kind of like my Japanese.
Yeah, yeah. Domo arigato.
Hi.
I learned a little bit of thank you and can I get something to eat and I love you in all languages.
That's good. And where's the bathroom? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yes and no. Those are good to know.
exactly. But
Um,
my husband is German,
oh,
and
okay.
we're married 33 years. He
Wow.
is a piano builder and piano tuner, and he plays trombone. And
Oh,
because of the pandemic, we had to figure out what to do because we couldn't go out. And
yeah.
he had a second instrument. So I actually started to learn the trombone, and I'm very happy about it. I love it. I have not put in enough work because I was busy getting the new CD together, but
Yeah.
now I'm ready to get back with the trombone and finish writing my autobiography. That's what I'm doing right now.
Wow. Well, first of all, just regarding the trombone,
Uh-huh,
when I found out how the trombone was played, I was
uh-huh.
kind of bowled over. It's a hard instrument, I think. I think it's a challenging instrument, especially a slide trombone where one note in the scale and then the next note is there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah. C, D.
yeah.
No, no. For me, the most difficult thing about the trombone is playing high. I
Oh,
can't seem to manage that.
yeah.
I got the seven positions. That's okay. And I
Yeah.
know it. And you know what? I actually have learned to read because my mother gave me piano lessons forever when I was young. And I memorized everything. I could never play the piano. I don't know. It's just not my instrument. But the trombone is cool. I want to just get that high part together. And
Yeah.
by the way, before I forget,
Yeah.
let me just say that I am heartbroken this evening that I just heard about my church, Victory Baptist Church on 48th and McKinley in Los Angeles, was burned down, and they think it was arson.
Oh.
And that church was the first church we went to. My mother was singing in that famous choir in 1950.
Wow.
And I was in the junior choir, because they didn't put this in the news. That's why I want to mention it. That Billy Preston was in the junior choir with me, and his sister Rodina was our choir director.
Wow.
And his mother, Robbie Preston, was the pianist for the church, and Miss Helen Perkins. And the conductor, Thurston Frazier, they were world famous. I mean, really, they were so famous. And it's not even mentioned in the history of, church burning down. So I just want to give a shout out and say in memory of Billy Preston and his wonderful family and all the great people that went to Victory Baptist Church, how sad I am that this has happened.
I'm so sorry to hear that. If you write something and post it, I will post it on my Facebook too. That's
Okay, I
really
put up a couple of videos, but I'll put the part about Billy Preston. I'll write that. Okay.
okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's super sad. Yeah. And
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to think it would be arson, like that's
I
just
know. I
horrible.
know. You got some sick people out here.
Yeah, really. I know. I know.
Mhm.
That's why we have to work on what we work on because to balance it all out, right?
Yep. 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 Yep.
We got to
That's
do it.
true.
Yeah, music and love and all that. Uh,
Kathy, actually, I people ask me how did I start singing, and I say I began in my mommy's tummy because my mother. I believe a child is formed by how the woman feels, what she eats, what she's listening to, and my mother had all the great records. Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Dinah Washington. On and on. Okay. So I grew up listening to all these great musicians and singers. And actually, I wanted to be an actress and I wanted to be a comedian. And so I really didn't think I was good enough as a singer. And I pursued the acting part more than I did anything else up until about the age of 27 when I got my first professional gig. So that's my early history. I went
and
to,
you and did you act?
yeah, I went to the Theater of Arts in
Yeah.
Los Angeles,
Uh-huh.
took drama classes, and then I was fortunate enough to be in the chorus of Two Gentlemen from Verona, the Broadway touring company. I was working alongside Janelle Allen and Clifton Davis. I was a sub but I never got a chance to play any role, but do my, chorus stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got a play with Billy Daniels called Norman, Is That You? It played locally. And then I got my SAG card. And let's see, I got some notes here because I told you I will not forget. I will forget everything. For Days of Our Lives, no, Joe Forrester with Lloyd Bridges. I did a part in that. And then I had a semi-occurring role in Days of Our Lives.
Wow.
I was the secretary for one of the cast members, I forget. But because I thought that I should wear an afro at the time, and I was trying to explain to them how important it was for Black people, well, they didn't bring me back. But it's okay.
It's funny. When I watch the Carol Burnett show, I'm always impressed with the stuff that she had on. She really, they were really out there, man. They did some really socially incorrect things, for the time.
I'm one of my problems over my life has been I have always loved all types of music. It's not a problem about loving it, but when you're a performer, they want to put you in a box. You're either a jazz singer, blues singer, classical, blah. And the good part of working in Las Vegas was that I could do it all. If I wanted to do country western, it was fine, and I did it. So now at the esteemed age of 80, I have decided, okay, I am claiming my blues roots. Once in a while, I'll throw a jazz thing in there, but, I'm more at home with blues. I don't know how to scat really, only doo-wop, 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 that's it. And, but, blues is where I'm at. So the new CD has 7 blues tracks and then 7 sort of like singer-songwriter and 2 covers. But
is the new CD out?
Yeah, that's why I sent you that picture. I sent you an email. You probably maybe didn't see it because you're getting ready. And I also sent you the latest critic because
I did see that, and I can read that actually.
Okay, well, the latest critic is something that's very important because the local guy is very upset that TuneCore, where I uploaded the CD and paid for it for all stores and platforms, only iTunes and Spotify are streaming it because they said it's explicit. And the reason they say it's explicit, you could show that picture, is because my husband of 33 years is standing behind me with his hands on my boobs. I mean, my clothes are on. There's not one bad word in that CD. And I'm making a big fuss about it because I'm angry. But my act is a cross between Millie Jackson, a little risque, Tina Turner for the energy, Ma Rainey for the stage presence, and Mom's Mabley for the comedy. Because I talk a whole lot of shit when I'm on stage.
I'm looking for what I want to do is put your name in and then what's the title of the album?
Janice Harrington, 80 Years of International Friendship.
Okay.
And people can download it, but only on iTunes and Spotify.
It's Mirror Image, right?
Well, Mirror Image is one song.
Okay.
I made a homemade video of that to dedicate to my husband.
May I play that?
Sure. I love that song.
Okay.
I wrote this when I lived in Norway.
Oh, okay. Is that your husband there?
Yeah. That's my baby. I just use his pictures, as a dedication.
Yeah. Oh.
I have traveled far looking for a place, traveled around the world looking for a face, find my mirror image so I'll know just who I am,
Yeah.
a brother or a sister, so I'll find myself again, someone that I can trust in, who will take me by the hand, someone that I believe in, who will try to understand that I'm just a drifter searching for a friend, here and there, everywhere, so I'll find myself again. Gotta rest my tired body, gotta cleanse my battered soul. I want to find someone to lean on, someone that I can hold. I can't believe the years, they've slowly slipped away. I've traveled in a circle, looking for a place. This is where I started, where my quest it did begin. I'm looking at my image and my long lost childhood friend.
Famous cover. A Pearlstein said if there was an award for best cover, it would win.
Gotta rest my tired body, gotta cleanse my battered soul. I gotta find someone to lean on, someone that I can hold, a friend that I can trust in, who will take me by the hand, a friend that I believe in, who will always understand. Although I've been drifting, I never left the place where love was all around me, where I found her mate.
Cool.
I
What? That's
still,
very sweet.
when I hear it, I still, ooh, I won't get all emotional here.
Yeah.
Um, the arranger,
Yes.
Tor Wheelo. I was introduced to him by a friend of mine, Paul Whedon. I'll come back to that name. Tor Wheelo was in his early 20s, and he had this fabulous, fabulous band, all young guys, young Norwegian boys. Now they are the creme de la creme. in Norway.
Yeah.
And when you think this track was recorded in either 1982 or 85, I forget, because I had two LPs and one was 82, one was 85. I carried those 24 tracks with me every place I went. And this year in January, I gave them to a studio and had them restored and remixed. And when you hear that sound, I mean, you think it was today.
Oh.
And I have to say thank you to Bruno Mars and Sonic Silk for bringing back the 80s sound, because my music is so, everybody said it's current today, and it still stands the test of time.
Well, that's a really beautiful song.
Thank you.
It's beautiful composition too, and your husband looks adorable.
Oh, he is, he's so sweet. Everybody loves him. I mean, he has a really dry sense of humor, and this is what they love. I mean, he's always making jokes. But, you know, Cathy, this is personal. It's going to be in my book, though.
Yeah.
This is my fourth husband,
Oh,
but we're married 33 years. And when I married him, I knew that when I met him, I knew this was a guy for me. I met him at the Cotton Club in Hamburg. And everybody liked him. The men liked him. The women liked him. He was funny, a good player. And so I said, okay, interesting. And then we talked a little bit. So then I said, okay, let's get together tomorrow for lunch. And we did. And while we were out, he said, oh, what a cute little girl. Oh, look at that dog. And I go, oh, sensitive too. But I think I better meet his mother, because, you know, I'm like, what, 50 something years old then, 56, 70, yeah. Well, not quite, in late 40s. And I decided that I needed to meet her. I went to the door. He didn't announce me. He just went to his mother's house. She opened the door, took a look at me, put me in her arms and kissed me. And I
oh,
said, this is it.
oh,
And that was my second mama.
wow.
Yeah. And the family's like that. I mean, I have not had any problems in this family, only love and protection.
Wow.
I couldn't say that would be the same thing if I was in the States. Sorry. With my family, yes. But with the political problems and the racism and all that, you know what I'm talking about. We won't even go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really a beautiful thing. I mean, that chokes me up because it's really important, you know. It's yeah, I have a friend right now who's going through some family issues, and it breaks my heart,
Oh,
you know,
oh,
because family, I mean, it's like that's the real roots of your grief and your love and
right.
your acceptance, and I mean, you know, so that's really sweet. That's really wonderful. I'm so glad
You
for you.
know, excuse me, it was a hard call to come here in 1980 and stay,
Yeah.
because I already had 5 kids.
Oh,
And then my mother, without her, I wouldn't be where I am today, because she encouraged me and she actually raised my kids for me. That's also in my book. I dedicate it to my mom, because without her, none of this would have happened. But now we have uh, 23 grandkids and 11 great grandkids.
oh my God.
Actually, only
Wow.
Werner has one daughter, our daughter, Nina. She has 3 children. They're here, and the rest are all in the States. You know, if
Wow.
it wasn't for Zoom and
Yeah.
FaceTime, and I, you know,
Yeah.
so
Wow. 23 grandchildren. Whew.
yeah,
That's a lot. I only have
11 great
4.
grandchildren. I think there might be a new one that I don't know about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw a picture, but nobody's told me anything, so I got to find out.
They're having to play catch up. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, my friend posted an album where you did Dinah Washington.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and you mentioned that you did jazz and blues, which I think of as Dinah anyway. I mean, the queen
yes,
of that.
even pop in her day. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So when as you were coming up, I know you were in the church choir, right?
yeah,
Did you get into bands, or did you create bands, or well, I know you went to the disco side, right? But
Yeah,
that was at
that
least
was,
the
yeah,
part
the
of the
late
story.
70s. Yeah,
Yeah.
late
So
70s.
what happened in between?
Well, I had five kids. I
Ah,
had my first kid when I was 15, the second at
oh,
16, the next at 18, and the twins at 25 with the second husband. So
wow.
I was a late bloomer,
Yeah.
actually. And as I said, at that time, uh, in the latter part of my 20s and first part of the 30s, I was actually going to the comedy store, listening to Cheech and Chong and Eddie Murphy, and getting up and telling my one joke that I knew.
Oh, really? That's funny.
So forming a band, I think I answered an ad in the Variety magazine. They were doing auditions for the USO,
Yeah.
and the auditions were being held at the Hollywood Bowl. Well, I was going to go and audition at the Hollywood Bowl, my big
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the manager of the West Coast office was a guy called Jimmy Sheldon. And Jimmy just saw something in me. Um, I don't know, stage presence, I guess. And I'm always moving. Even today, I dance a lot, I move around a lot.
Yeah.
And he programmed me. I went to on these tours maybe about 6, 7 times, 3 times to Vietnam. When I think about that today, I go like, wow, my mother, okay, approved it. Okay. Without her, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But, I had 5 kids and I'm going to Vietnam. I mean, come on. When I think about that and my mindset,
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I got this offer to work in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and I had a 3-year residency there and at the Flamingo Hotel. And then I also, in the same period, met a really sweet friend of mine called Dennis Reed, who's still active in Arizona. And we put together a duo. And we were really ahead of our time because we called ourselves Black and White Soul. Had we had a good manager, we were like, Tony Tennille and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. And we were doing all these cover songs, but he's a pianist. And we worked in Vegas and Lake Tahoe and all around. And then we put a drummer with us, a guy called Brent Brace. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he was a beautiful drummer, Brent Brace. And we worked that circuit for quite a while. Lake Tahoe, Vegas. Those were the good old days when I had some juice up there and things were popping.
Yeah.
So I honed my stage presentation because of the Vegas thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see how that would happen, especially after, a lot of experience there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Um, and I was going to read some of this review that you had for your record.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the Lüneburg singer, did I say that right? Uh,
Lüneburg.
Lüneburg singer Janice Harrington has already experienced a lot in her 80 years of life. She sings about it with impressive vitality and power on her new CD, 80 Years of International Friendship. The American from Cleveland, Ohio, who has lived near Scharnebeck for a long time, had her own show in wild Las Vegas, stood with Sammy Davis Jr. on stage, sang for GIS in Vietnam. Oh, GIs. Sorry, GIs.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I knew that. Toured with giants like Lionel Hampton and B.B. King and made it to the finale of season 1 of The Voice Senior. But even in the OH Ader, that must be a typo.
Old age is okay.
Oh, even in the old age, life is still good for a surprising premiere. The great grandma hadn't made it on to the index yet. The cover of their current CD, which was rejected and indexed as too offensive by all streaming services except iTunes and Spotify, actually made sure of that. The hearty grab and the charmingly mischievous grin of Werner Gertler
Uh-huh.
after your
Good.
husband, right? After
Uh-huh.
all Harrington's After all, Harrington's husband for 33 years, together with the grand lady's mock indignation, probably didn't quite meet the sense of humor of the strict moral guardians. Maybe it's a consolation that Janice can now count herself among the illustrious circle of explicit musicians such as Falco, Rammstein, Dearche, I don't know how to pronounce that, Dearts,
Okay.
something like that,
Neither.
Bushido and Sido. Incidentally, for all these artists, the band was the best form of self-advertising and made the figures skyrocket. I sincerely wish Janice.
And don't forget Millie Jackson.
Ah,
You
okay.
didn't know about her,
That's
but I
fun.
love her.
That's great. um, yeah, and let's see. My friend also posted your Bandcamp. So I guess that's where a lot of your material can be bought, right?
Yeah, I had okay, so when I lived in Norway,
Yeah.
I had the connection to the Skeppsholmen Jazz and Blues Festival, which was in Stockholm, a very one of the biggest festivals in Scandinavia. Everybody came through there from Oscar Peterson to Ella, on and on. Okay,
Yeah.
I knew the organizer, Busa Stenhammer, and he programmed me about 5 times in that festival. So I said to him I would like to do a tribute to Dinah Washington, and I would like to try to put together the original trio. And he said, okay, because he was bringing everybody anyway from the States. So then I got in touch with Keter Betts,
Ah,
the bass player with the original Dinah Washington trio,
yeah.
and also with Ella all those years, Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And he put the band together for me. And he called Jimmy Cobb and he called Lloyd Mayers. Jimmy Cobb was in the original Dinah Washington trio. Lloyd Mayers, a sub for Wynton Kelly, but this band was great. So I made this recording in Sweden, but then I didn't have enough money to go further with it after I had all the tracks. So I brought those tracks to Germany, and Nigel Hire Records in Hamburg, fortunately, said yes, they would release it for me, and they did. But at the same time, we had made a tour with this group in Germany with a promoter who doesn't work managing anymore, Gabby Kleinschmidt, and she added Nat Adderley and Billy Mitchell to
Oh.
this band, and they made a record, a live record on Hot Shot Records.
Uh-huh.
And so now my next CD will be, because I wasn't so happy with all the tracks on Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow, my singing. It wasn't about musicians, it was about me.
Yeah.
Because I told Keter, I said, Mr. Betts, you don't know me, but if you would come over to Europe and make a tour with me, I will pay you blah, 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 amount of money. He said yes. So when he got off the airplane, I met him. Hello, Mr. Betts. 10 days canceled. But don't worry, if you come in the studio with me, you get all your money. So we only had 2 gigs, Stockholm Jazz Festival and the Den Haag Jazz Festival. But we recorded. But, as I said, I don't consider myself a jazz singer. I sing well. And at that time, I didn't sing as well. And I had only sung these songs in the shower. And I thought I would get a chance to work them out on the road,
Yeah.
But I didn't get that chance. I went right in the studio with Keter Betts and Jimmy Cobb and Lloyd Mayers, and I
Yeah.
was petrified, And it's so funny because on a couple of the takes, take 6, take 7, and on the one song, Bye Bye Blues, I wanted to do it as a duo with Jimmy, just drums. bye bye blues. But Jimmy put a torrid pace on that. It was like so fast, I
Oh,
couldn't even say bye. And Keeter said, "Oh, Jimmy, come on now. But I wanted all those little things on the CD, but they wouldn't do it. So I said, okay, when I remix it, I'm going to add that stuff with Keeter talking. I'm
I
going to do it.
like that.
Me too.
I do like that. Should we listen to one cut?
Sure, I would love it.
Which cut?
It's up to you. I
Well,
thought about you, maybe.
okay.
Or, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I
let's.
forget
I
what's
mean,
there.
I think you can. I'm not sure if I can listen to the whole thing or.
No,
I
no, no, no. Or I want to be around that Dinah Washington. I like that.
I want to be around. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Bandcamp. Uh-huh. Okay.
Bandcamp is cool.
All right.
That's where we can make our most money.
I wanna be around to pick up the pieces when somebody breaks your heart.
This is a great song.
Somebody,
I hope you can play one more after this.
Okay.
And that's Olay, just
Okay.
because of Peter's bass solo. It's only bass, but it's great.
somebody who would swear to be true like you used to do to me. To leave you to learn, and misery loves company. Wait and see. I wanna be around to see how you take it. When she starts to play your game, starts handing you the same old lie. Yeah, that's when I'll discover revenge is sweet. As I sit there applauding law from a front row seat. Somebody breaks your heart like you broke mine.
Yeah, sounds great.
Ah, thank you.
I wanna be around to see how she does it when she breaks your heart to bits. Oh, baby, let's see if the puzzle fits so fine. Yeah, that's when I'll discover revenge is sweet as I sit there applauding Lord from my front row seat. Somebody breaks your heart like you broke mine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When somebody breaks your heart like you broke mine.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
Love that.
I didn't even know what I had when I had those guys, and they were willing to come back on tour again. They did come over one more time, but I was so stupid that I didn't push this project. But okay,
But
play
you
Olay.
sounded great there.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you. Now, Olay, we were at a private party,
Yeah.
and Keeter just started to play this, and it was so much fun just to hear him play this. You actually think you are in Spain at a bullfight. Check it out. Can you hear it good?
I think so. Can you?
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty low, but okay. It is an upright bass. I don't dare touch anything because I don't want to lose you. Oh, and another thing about this, let me just tell you one more story. Which one was that? Oh my goodness. Oh, Willow Weep for Me. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, so the piano player, Mike Hennessy, he's a good piano player, but he plays block chords. I need the melody. I need to hear my note. And I'm not a free singer. I'm like, da, da, da. So here we are in the Philharmonie in Munich, following the Count Basie band. And he's playing these block chords, and I'm trying to sing Willow Weep for Me and don't know where to start. And I'm lost. Nobody knows I'm lost, but the band knows I'm lost. We got Peter Betts, Jimmy Cobb, Nat Adderley. Okay. So Nat jumps in and he starts to scat. And when you hear him scat, you're saying, let me hear you, brother. I was like, well, whatever. But it is so funny. If you get a chance again to play something later, play Willow Weep for Me, because it's hilarious.
Okay.
I mean, really.
All right.
Okay.
This on this project?
Yes.
Well, let's hear it. Why not?
The last one, I think.
Yeah.
Knowing how lost I was. Turn it up a bit. Good.
Willow weep for me, willow weep for me. Bend your branches down along the stream that runs.
See, super lost.
Huh?
Listen to my.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen, willow, and weep for me. Come out of the stream. Lovely summer's dream. Gone and left me here with my tears into the stream. Sad as I can be. Hear me, willow, weep. Listen to the wind. Say that love is sin. Say that love is sin. Leave my heart aching and a breaking. All right. Murmur to the night.
He said, let me know I'm okay now.
Hide a starry night. Hide a starry night. Now will find me lying and sighing all alone. Weeping willow weep. Weeping sympathy. Oh, let me hear. Sad as I can be. Sad as I can be. Hear me, willow. Weep for me. Not that way. Listen to the wind and say that love is sin. Say that love is sin. Leave my heart a breaking and making. Murmur to the night, murmur to the night. Hide a starry light, hide a starry light. Nobody finds me lying inside, all alone, alone. We've been sympathy. Come. Oh, sad as I can be. Sad as I can be. Hear me, willow, and weep. Oh, willow. Oh, willow. Willow, weep for me. Willow. Willow, weep for me.
I don't know what was going on up there.
You know what? You weren't off.
Oh no, I forgot the words and I just, my timing was off and but he saved me. He saved me.
I didn't think your timing was off. I didn't hear that. Actually, it was good. Yeah, Nat was pretty wild, man. That was fun.
Yes, it was.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the everybody really enjoyed listening to that. You know, you also you wrote a play or a gospel show or what was
Yeah.
that?
Well, that was the project before Corona hit. I wrote this Roots of Gospel Music, and to tell the history of the, mothers and fathers of the music. And we were ready to go, but Corona hit. So actually, the musical that I wrote didn't really happen. I had a gospel show where, we sung some songs from, Clara Ward Singers, Mahalia Jackson, Sister Rosetta Thorpe, I can't think right now, what I toured with a little bit, but it was more just two sets of gospel music. The actual musical didn't actually make it, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I could still do it, but it's all about the money. I had sponsors then, and now I don't. So, and right now, I'm just a little bit too old to take on these big projects with a whole lot of other people, because I don't need any, what's the words I want? I know what I'm going to do. I can't be responsible what other people are going to do. So I'd rather just put my energies into me right now.
Yeah. Well, I think as you get older, I mean, for me, I know people might think I'm an Energizer bunny now, but I'm not. I'm about, I'm about a quarter of what I was, I-
Amen.
About 20 years ago, I was really, I was pushing a
Yeah,
lot. And
yeah,
that
yeah,
was before the internet was so active. So
yeah,
a lot of hands-on phone calling across
yeah,
the
yeah.
water
Hmm.
and sending
Hmm.
packages out
Hmm.
and putting together your own tours, connecting the
Yeah,
dots and stuff.
yeah,
I mean, I like doing what I do now, and I don't know. It's different. I like it. I like it better
yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. You do it very well. I'm so relaxed and I'm having a lot of fun. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Well, it's so cool to actually hook up with you. I mean, you said you moved across did you say 19?
80.
Yeah, so I was here just for a few years before. I guess we didn't meet each other then, right?
No, unfortunately. Mhm.
Yeah, so it's good to meet you now.
Yeah,
And
how long did you stay here?
oh,
And where were you?
well,
Oh,
I traveled at various points in Europe, although I did live in Austria for several months, so like four
oh, okay.
months or something. I was
Mhm,
starting a jazz vocal program in a school in
mhm,
Austria.
mhm,
But I didn't really live. Other than that, I didn't live in Europe. I went there
mhm,
relatively
mhm,
often.
mhm.
And I remember when I started going to Japan, Japan was always like the first few days felt very odd,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would think about Europe immediately. I'd be like, oh, Europe. It's like a whole different kind of feeling, and it's the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
culture. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
as far away as the Japanese culture. That's really kind of a different planet.
And I understand you totally because when we went to Japan, we went there before we came to Europe with the disco band. And actually, I put this band together at the Musicians Union in LA, and I met a guy called Greg Watson there. Greg later on was one of I guess the Olympics were 1989 in Los Angeles. And he was, or I think, uh, yeah, time
Don't
flies. But
remember.
whenever the Olympics were, when they had those piano players playing
Oh,
Rhapsody in Blue, I think it was, he
okay.
was the only Black one.
Oh,
And he was, yeah, I mean, he's on that level, the
yeah.
player. And so he introduced us to a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire and all this kind of stuff on top of my Donna Summer stuff. And when we were in Japan, as you say, it's so different. I'm an early bird. I get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, even now, but
Oh,
I go to bed at 8 o'clock, if I'm not working. And of course, I don't go knocking on nobody's door at 8 o'clock for breakfast. They would kill me. So I bought myself some watercolor, some acrylic,
yeah.
and I decided I always kind of like to doodle around and drawing. I'm not very good, but I like to try.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to have this with me just in case I could paint the flowers or whatever. So that's what I was doing. And that stopped me from needing to go out alone. I would just stay in my room and paint until they were ready because the culture is so different. I didn't feel like just going out and going around, although the Japanese people are very kind and sweet, but I was not as relaxed there as I am in Europe,
Yeah.
because the culture is different.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Japan so much over 20 years,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
do love it. I feel like it's my second home because of that. And
Oh,
the people are beautiful and kind, especially the artists and the farmers are my favorite people.
yeah.
And yeah, I really love it. But it definitely is kind of a different planet. It's just,
Mhm.
it's kind of like us, but it's not.
Mhm. No,
It's
no,
not
not at
us.
all.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank God it's not like America. I'm telling you, I'm sorry.
Oh, now don't forget, you are American. Well, I mean, you came from
Hey, I can never forget I'm Black American, double, double.
America.
But, respect.
Yeah,
And this is something that I get everywhere else except America. I mean, it's there. I can't say all Americans are bad. I wouldn't say that, but everybody knows what I'm talking about without me having to define what my real meaning is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But our family is like, oh, it kills me because we're so interracial.
yeah.
I mean, there's so many mixed marriages in my family. I guess I didn't start the ball rolling. My brother married a German woman.
Oh,
And actually, my mother's sister is half German.
oh,
So it started way back, but and they're living all over the place in Oklahoma and South Carolina. And so it's like, I'm like, if it was California, I would feel more safe. But okay, they're all grown. They know how to handle themselves.
yeah, yeah. Well, I know that's why a lot of black artists moved to Europe,
Yeah.
ended up living in Europe. And yeah, it's, what can I say? Planet Earth, it's just, I, it's weird. It's a pretty weird, all over. I don't think it's just America. I think it's all over. Is
Yeah.
strange, strange ideas about human beings and
Uh-huh.
not really understanding that we're all human beings. It's
Exactly.
come
And
on,
our blood,
bottom
it's
line. And then it's kind of like watching sci-fi stuff. The guy wants to destroy what's happening. Okay, if you
yeah.
destroy what's happening, who are you going to rule?
Thank you.
Oh, that's not the answer,
Yeah. I mean, look at Putin right now, messing around with this nuclear plant. I mean, if they, it's going to affect the world, not just the Ukrainians. It's
And
so stupid.
yeah, who's he going to rule in the end?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it's just it's very strange.
Mm, it
But
is.
and there's, I mean, I have a lot of, beliefs, and I talk a lot about this stuff,
Mhm.
behind, kind of behind closed doors,
I
because
know, I know, I know.
I don't really want to invite people's, um, I don't mind talking with people I trust, but
Yes.
I don't enjoy, like, having a broad public discussion with people about certain
Mhm,
things,
mhm,
especially spiritualism,
mhm, mhm.
because I really don't want to open up to super negative stuff. And
I know what you mean.
yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah. So, I'm going to take you back to Sweden right now.
okay.
Um, and because I have to say thank you to Bosse Stenhammar. I understand he's not doing so well now, but he did so much for jazz in Sweden and brought over the greatest, I mean, the top of the line. One year, I was not on the festival, but Linda Hopkins came over. And that's when I first met her. And because I was a fan of hers, I wanted to come and meet her and take care of her.
Yeah.
And we had such a ball together. So there I am. I sent you that video, I think,
You
too.
did. I just,
There I am
yeah,
standing in the audience. Now, I'm well known in Scandinavia now, especially Norway and Sweden.
yeah,
And she's with the Harlem Jazz and Blues Band.
yeah.
And she's saying, my best friend, Janice Harrison, is in the audience. Come up here, Janice. Oh, Janice Harrison, her best friend, right? Oh God, I tell you. So I'm up there looking like Aunt Jemima with my hair and the way I'm looking. She's got her Bob Mackie dress on, and I mean, looking great.
Yeah, yeah.
But I said, okay, I'm going to go on up there. Why not? I don't say no to an opportunity like that and to play with this great band. But I got up there with the impression that I was going to kick her ass. I was really going to show her, baby. We started singing, and Linda tore me up. But I learned. I learned. And that night, I went to hear her at a club. And when I walked in the door, she said, come on up here. We're going to sing. And she said, we got to get on the piano because that's where the light is. I said, no, that's a glass piano. We're going on that piano. And, she was not a small girl.
Yeah.
And she crawled up on that piano and dragged me up behind her. And we had a ball. But I heard that the owner of the club is still checking the piano for stress marks.
Now that makes me wonder, do you work? Was that how we hooked up this time? Do you work with Marty Jabara?
I know Marty, but we've never worked together,
And he
unfortunately.
he might have been playing with her in the concert that you talked about. Let's look at that video that you.
No, not that concert. I don't think so. That was the Harlem Jazz and Blues Band.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah,
done a lot of work with her, but here we go.
I know. I loved her. She gave me a good education.
Oh, you looked so cute there.
Yeah, looking like Aunt Jemima.
Let's do Stormy Monday. Stormy Monday, I think that's an F. Everything is F.
F this and F that.
Now, I have this turned up way high, so when you speak into your mic, talk a little bit back. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Well, they call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday is just as bad. Well, they call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday is just as bad. Well, Wednesday is worse and Thursday is oh so sad. Well, the Eagles won on Friday, Saturday I go out play. Wow, the Eagles won Friday, Saturday I go out play. Sundays I go down to church, fall on my knees and I pray. What do you think? I said, Lord have mercy on me. And what do you say? Lord have mercy on your poor child like me. Well, when you let my baby son, bring him home to me. Good God Almighty, good God Almighty. All right, it's all right. Bring it home to me.
Linda started that.
Now he may be your man. He comes to see me sometimes.
And then she turned around and told me up.
I'm beginning to think he's mine. Let me tell you about him. Wake up early one morning with a note found on my bed. He said, "Then I quit you 'cause I found somebody bad." I said, "It's sorry, baby, but I found somebody new." So he'll talk about you. What do you think? I went on about him, and I said, "You didn't do nothing. I didn't do something." You tie him to your side. Girl, if you want your man, I said you better tie him to your side. 'Cause I'll take that man with me. How wrong was that I didn't worry about you with that man of mine 'cause he was old, too old for me. He wasn't even getting any more social security, so I didn't need him anyway. But man, and everything is sure not all right. Let me tell you. My first man was a nice man, nice as he can be. Just all this money and he bring it all home to me. Now my meat man was a sweet man. Let me tell you about that old man. That old man, let me tell you, he knows just what to do. Rocks me with a steady roll. Rocks me with a steady roll.
Oh, wow, man.
That was fun.
Cool.
Fun.
That was great. Yeah.
I learned a lot from her. She was a teacher, I tell you. Mhm.
Yeah. Um, Joyce, we already talked about how she came to live in Europe, so you might have to go back to the beginning to see. Um, yeah. Wow. That was cool. That was really fun. Yeah, she was pretty fun, right?
Mhm.
Pretty powerful.
One of the really nice things about coming over here in the 80s, I met so many wonderful musicians that I don't think I would have had the opportunity to be up close and personal with them back in the States. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I would have felt intimidated or something. I don't know. But for instance, Herb Geller,
Yeah.
I don't know, you heard that name before?
I
Oh,
I
great.
knew
So
his
many
name.
people didn't because he came over and stayed. But Herb and I worked together quite a bit here. And he wrote a lot of charts for me. He wrote my jazz book
Oh,
and wrote some big band charts. And of course, when I lived in Norway, I got a chance to meet Sweets Edison and Lockjaw Davis. They were touring over there a lot. Clark Terry and I were friends. And yeah. And then, of course, all the great Swedish and Norwegian musicians like Gugi Gudrinius, Svante Tudorsen. I was in a musical in Stockholm called, the musical was Ain't Misbehaving'.
okay.
But the Swedish name is called Hela Sultan Swinga. Okay. And I played the Lapplisa, meaning the traffic cop. I mean, they turn it around, but they have the rights. And I worked with really top-notch Swedish musicians, singers, Britta Borg, Pontus Platin. And really, it was, I had to sing the show in Swedish. It took me all summer to learn my few songs, but I did it.
Wow.
So I'm not as stupid as I think I am.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, and Herb Geller, he was cool. When I first came here, he was here. Like I came here in 75 or 6 and
Okay.
he was
Yeah.
and I was I was also at that point I was a waitress at Dante's. So
Yeah.
a lot of those people came in, during that
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was a waitress at a club called the Baby Grand West. There was a Baby Grand in New York City,
Oh,
and then they made one in LA. And at that club, I got a chance to meet Tina Turner.
really?
Yeah. I mean, that's when they were working the Chitlin circuit, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Did you ever go to the Parisian Room here?
Girl, honey, I love the Parisian Room. I mean, Freddie Jet, Parisian Room. I'm sitting at the bar, and who am I sitting next to? Lena Horne. I didn't know what to say. I was just tongue-tied. I couldn't believe it. And then, of course, I used to love to listen to Donald Dean
Yeah.
to play. And I never sang there because I just didn't feel I was on that level, you know.
Yeah.
But Parisian Room was one of my haunts. I loved it and was so sorry when it closed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the coolest club. It was
yeah,
great. It was a great club. Yeah.
yeah.
I was in the audience once when Carmen McRae was singing, and that was one of the nights she kicked the piano player off the bench.
Oh,
And I was so young, I was like, I was
oh my
totally
goodness.
shocked, you know. Whoa. Wow, you mean you can do that? Oh God, when you're Carmen McRae, you can, you know.
Oh yeah. Once I was in San Diego, and I don't exactly where I was, but we went to hear Louis Jordan,
Yeah.
and we were having such a good time. And I am ballsy. I really am. And I just went to him on the break. I said, "Can I sit in with you?" And he let me.
Ah,
And I sung Kansas City, my stock song. But I did. I sang one time with them, and they were polite, they were nice, and they played for me, and it was great.
that's so
That was it.
cute. So nice. Well,
And
you know,
another song, another short story. Okay, so ABC booking
yeah,
was on Wilshire Boulevard,
yeah.
and the secretary, Kate, and Tony Pappas was the leader of that
Okay.
West Coast office. And I
Yeah.
went there and said, "I'm a singer." And I mean, I didn't have a band or anything. I said, "But, I need representation." And I mean, I guess they thought I was funny because, I didn't have anything going, nothing at all. But I decided I needed to have representation. So she was amused by me, I think. And she invited me to come down to hear Lionel Hampton at the Coconut Grove in LA. So I took my mother and we went down there. We had a great time. We enjoyed it. And then he said, "I got a special guest in the audience." Really? And she had arranged for
Oh,
me to sing, and I didn't know it. So I got up and I sung Kansas City. And then he invited me for one gig. So
wow.
there was a jubilee for the Mahari Medical Foundation. I think they're in South Carolina or someplace. It's a Black medical college. And I sung for them. The only thing is that I like to tell jokes. I like to talk when I'm on stage. And I didn't clear that with Lionel. So I had this one joke that I was telling at the Comedy Store all these years and everything. I had my one joke, always got me applause. And boy, he jumped off those drums and he came running up as I was getting into, the joke. People were digging it. He said, "Yeah, Gates, what happened? What?" And just threw my timing completely off. I was pissed off. I was so mad, But anyway, I never had another gig with him, but I met him in Nice. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why haven't you ever called me back for a gig?" He said, "Because I tell that joke."
That's funny. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
What a funny comment. So are you going to tell the joke?
Oh, okay. So these three ladies, one Japanese lady, one white lady, one black lady, they die and they go to heaven. And as the Japanese lady comes up to heaven, the Lord opens his hand, she steps in it, he closes it, and poof, she's gone. He says, "Welcome to the house of the Lord." Then the white lady comes down. Oh, okay, she's in a red silk gown. Then the white lady comes down in a red, beautiful dress. She steps into his hand, he closes it. "Welcome to the house of the Lord." She's gone. Then the black lady comes down in a red velvet suit, top hat and cane. She steps in his hand and he closes it and he goes, "Welcome to the house of the Lord." But she's still standing there. And he says, "Black woman, why didn't you melt?" She says, "Because chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hands." Okay.
Oh my gosh. And that was the joke that you kept telling. Okay. Cool. Do you still tell that joke now?
Now, this is the second time I've told it in 20 years.
That's funny. Wow. Okay. Good. Well, I'll share a joke with you that I heard the other night.
Okay.
It was different the other night because once the guy said it, it was Will Kennedy, the drummer. Once he said it, we kept using the joke for about 40 minutes in the
Okay.
conversation. So so on this beach, there's a sign that says private, no swimming. And so this old Jewish guy gets in the water and he's swimming. And the security comes over and he says, "Can't you see the sign? It says no swimming." The little guy says, "No, it says private, no swimming." And we used that joke for about 40 minutes through the conversation. Oh my God. That was so, jokes can really like
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
personality. I only remember about three jokes, over my lifetime, but they're good ones.
Really? No, I used to love to tell jokes. My aunt and I used to always trade jokes because I really, really wanted to be a comedian. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if I would have stayed in the States if I would have found someone to write for me. My problem was that I can't really write, to make it funny.
Yeah.
I just tell jokes that I hear. So, like if I would have met, what was his name? Paul, the one that just died recently. He was a writer. Okay, I can't think of his name. Okay.
I don't know.
First name is Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
See him at the comedy club too.
Yeah. So, okay, so you're 80. I'm not far behind you. I'll be 70 next year. And
Oh,
so
baby.
so I mean, obviously you're still going. Is there an outlook that you have from the past to the present to the future, just kind of taking in consideration that you're 80?
Well, as the Lord woke me up this morning, and as long as He gives me power, I'm going to still be out there kicking.
Yeah.
I just got back from Bulgaria yesterday. We only had one gig, but we were sponsored by the U.S. Embassy, and it was the first American music festival in this town. I can't really say the name. And I'm going to post a picture of me and the ambassador as soon as I get them. But I love doing these kind of things because normally they include workshops and concerts. This one was only just the concert.
Yeah.
And on the 24th, we go to Italy. We have one gig there. We fly into Venice and basically, have voice will travel like most musicians. I haven't stopped, doing what I was doing. And it's a little bit better than it was, basically, because I'm marketing my age. There's not too many people 80 years old that can get out there and do what I'm doing. And I still sound the same, but I think I sound better. And I'm more confident of what I'm doing. And I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't do it. I mean, I want the money, but I love the stage. I love being up there,
Yeah.
and I have fun with the people, and I'm honest when I'm on stage. I think you have to be honest and not pretentious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I have several friends. Oh, Dan DeVilla, he said the comedian Paul Mooney. Was that who you were talking?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Thanks,
He
Dan.
was a great writer and comedian.
Yeah. Well, I have several friends who are up in age. Jay Clayton's 80, Sheila Jordan is 92, David Amro.
Oh, right. And still going strong. Great.
Oh, and I mean, they're people I admire, and they're just, it's just, I mean, they don't have to maybe, like I was saying, they don't have to be the Energizer Bunny from when they were 25, but
Yeah.
what doesn't stop you from continuing on and doing what you're
It's so
doing.
fun.
As a matter of fact, when Sheila Jordan came here, She did a concert. It was a home venue, which so it was just more a little more intimate.
Yeah. Uh,
The last song she sang, everyone in the audience was crying, and it was kind of the song. I forget what the song it was, but it was basically saying, well, her whole concert really was saying it. I am here giving you something that's unique that you cannot get anywhere else.
mm,
I was there in the beginning because she was a
mm,
big friend of Charlie Parker's, and she had lofts in New York and all kinds of stuff. You know,
mm.
that that is such a gift to
Yes, it
give
is.
people, and
Yes, it
all you have to
is.
do is listen. It's really
Mhm.
terrific.
We
So,
have only 5 minutes left.
no, we have 15 minutes.
Good, because I want to bring my husband in so he could say hi.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah. Okay. The time is just, this is the second live interview I've done.
Yeah,
The first one was with Gail Boyd for alternative
yeah,
venues and jazz.
yeah.
And I was so nervous.
That's kind of a
Today,
weird one because that's all yourself in a half hour. It's nobody's asking you questions.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
And then I did this radio interview oh, oh,
David
Mr.
Beck.
Pearlstein.
Oh, what?
Pearlstein.
Oh, Abe.
Abe, a
Yeah,
sweetheart, a sweetheart.
yeah.
Really. He told me, he said, if there was an award for the best album cover, you would get it.
That's
I
good.
hope he's listening, and I thank him again for his interview.
Uh,
Although on that particular interview, before we started, he had to do something, and I actually went to sleep. I was waiting for him, and I was so glad my husband was there. He said, "Aren't you supposed to be doing an interview?" And Abe says, "Are you there? Are you there?" Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh my God. I'll send him this as a message afterward.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, are you going to bring your husband in now?
Yeah, I will. Can you play something while I do that?
Sure, I'll play one of the things you sent me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I could get up and dance, but I can't make it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm a mojo working, just won't work for you. I'm a mojo working, just won't work for you. I wanna love you so bad, don't care what you do. Yeah. Well, I'm going to Louisiana, get me a mojo.
Jan.
I'm thinking about getting me some grapes again and salt and pepper.
Tonight is gonna work on you. Bring it on down for me just a little bit. I want you to help me out. I'm gonna sing I Got My Mojo Working, and you sing I Got My Mojo Working, okay? Can you do that? We're gonna keep it real low now. We're gonna keep it real low. I'm gonna sing I Got My Mojo Working, and then you answer I got my mojo working. Okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. We're gonna keep it real low. Here we go. Watch out. I got my mojo working. 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 I got
Where
my
was it?
mojo working.
Spain with Alvin Quinn.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so very
I
much.
mean the pace.
Huh?
The pace.
In Spain.
Pace.
That's
Oh,
Kathy. Say hi to Kathy.
Hi.
hi, how are you?
When I see you, I love you. Mwah.
Thank you. All right, I have a love over across the seas.
Of course.
Thank
He's a
you.
charmer. I warned you.
Yeah, well, a trombone player, those trombone players, you got to watch them.
Really?
That's what I know, yeah.
What you know a lot, huh?
Well, I know about this much.
Okay, I learned this.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. I heard are you teaching our girl trombone? Are you the teacher?
Of course.
How's she doing?
Great. Big talent. Work. Woo.
Wow, Janice, you can't get much better than that.
I love you. Mwah.
Now that he's had his flirt, thank you so much.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Ah,
Wow, I flirted with a trombone player in Germany today.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Did you ever record, Joyce is asking, did you ever record anything with your husband? Like that we could
Yeah,
hear?
on the new CD, I added "What a Wonderful World" as the last track, simply because of the problems in the world today, just with a piano player, trombone, and me. So because he wasn't on anything else on the CD, so
Yeah.
we have that,
So let's see. So
and no other recordings.
no other recordings like with
No.
like that kind of thing. And that was called 80. Yeah, okay.
No, I take it back. There's some stuff on Bandcamp, the gospel stuff. He's playing on that. Nigel Higher Records. He's
Now,
playing on those CDs.
um, but I think it would be fun to hear you and he in piano. I think that would be cool.
Okay.
Janice Harrington. So which cut is it?
No, it's the last one. What a Wonderful World. But let's not play that one. Play something from the Bandcamp, the gospel stuff.
Okay. And which record is it? I feel the
Can you
spirit.
show me a screen and I can tell you?
Is it I Feel the Spirit?
Yeah,
I'm on Spotify.
yeah. Well, oh, I'll just play Down by the Riverside. I mean, I can't think of anything else right now.
Okay. And is it
Okay,
playing? Let's see.
okay. or you can play the What a Wonderful World if you like.
I'm gonna lay down my burden bow down by the riverside. Bow down by the riverside. Bow down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my
Vo means where. Vo.
Okay.
It was a live concert.
burden no more. Ain't gonna study for no more. Study for no more. Ain't gonna study for no more. No more. Study for no more. Study for no more. Ain't gonna study for no more. Help, gonna lay my troubles by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna pack my grip and go down, up by the riverside. I've gotta study war no more. Ain't gotta study war no more. Ain't gotta study war no more. Ain't gotta study war no more. No more. Won't study war no more. Study war no more. Yeah. I ain't gotta study war no more.
There's a trombone solo.
Oh, that golden road, yeah, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna put on that golden road, down by the riverside, on the steady wall no more. I ain't gonna study wall no more, ain't gonna study wall no more. I don't study war no more.
That's my girlfriend, Linda Fields.
Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Study war no more. Study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study. Ain't gonna study. Ain't gotta study a war no more.
You know, Cathy, I'm considered the mother of gospel workshops in Germany. It was my conception in 1989 to make the first gospel workshop offering seminars where German people could learn to sing gospel music. So many of them were coming to the concert saying, "Oh, I wish I could sing gospel." I said, "Why can't you?" "Because I don't have a black voice." I said, "I don't want to hear that." I said, you just got to learn it from, an American that, so I am not, as I said, a pianist or a conductor. And I brought over my good friend, Charles May. Charles May's father, Brother Joe May, was called what was the name for him of the Midwest? Brother Joe May. Check that out. And he was along with Mahalia Jackson and all these people. Mahalia was like Charles's auntie. She was always in the family. Charles was singing with people like Bach, Skaggs, and he was in his group was in the movie The Roots, the film.
Yeah.
And Quincy Jones recorded his group as well. Oh God, I can't think of these names off the top of my head, but I brought him over because I didn't know anything about contemporary gospel, only traditional gospel.
Yeah.
And he brought us Richard Smallwood and all these new artists we didn't know. But we started that ball rolling with this music here in Germany. And now in every village and every corner, you got a gospel group or choir.
That's so cool. That's great. I applaud you. That's wonderful. Really great. Yeah.
But now I'm blues.
What did you say?
Now I'm just singing blues.
That's okay. That's good. You know, tomorrow I'm interviewing a piano player you might remember, Karen Hernandez.
I love Karen. Say how much I adore her. I kept telling her she needed to come to Europe and hook up with me.
Yeah, she should.
Every time I went there, she had a lot of children like I have, and she wasn't going to leave. But maybe, never know.
She had 5 kids also. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was really the working person in the relationship, and then her husband also died.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry.
Probably like a long time ago. And
okay,
she was like working and
she
had to do the supporting for a while. But sometimes she's kind of an overlooked pianist because she's older, she's from the old school LA, but she's such an incredible pianist.
How old is she?
She's probably close to 90, I'm going to say.
90 already?
Maybe 85. Wow. Let me just take a quick...
Really?
Yeah, she's up there.
Wow.
Hernandez piano. Let's see if there's a I don't know if there's a Wikipedia about her. I don't know. I'm not really sure when she was born.
It doesn't matter. I know
I would guess she's, or maybe if she's not 90, maybe 80 something, or definitely over 80. I don't know.
I don't know if she would remember me. We never worked together, but every time I saw her, I would say, I'm in Europe and you need to come on over.
She's so kind. She loves singers. And
yes, she does. I know.
Yeah. Really great. I remember one time I said to her, oh, sometimes these semi-pros and amateurs drive me crazy, because, especially when you work with people all the time, at some point, somebody's going to kind of make you roll your eyes. And she said to me, really? I love everybody, all the singers. I'm like, oh, well, shame on me. But anyway,
I understand you.
She's very kind. She loves to work, and she really sounds great these days, like strong as ever.
I'm glad you brought that name up because I'll get back to you when I know my dates because maybe we can do something together. That would be one of my something to take off my bucket list. Because I've always wanted to work with her.
That would be great. It would be great. Okay, we'll keep in touch on that.
Okay.
Well, it's been 2 hours, and thank you, Janice, so much for coming on.
It went so fast.
I know.
I want more.
I know. Doesn't it feel cool to hang out and talk and share your music? That's great. Thank you.
I thank you, Cathy, and you're adorable.
Oh,
and so happy to have your book. And I can use that in my workshops as well.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. And we will look forward. When is your book coming?
When I finish writing it.
I know how that feels.
Oh, yeah. I got to the chapter with my second husband and the twins, and I had to get myself together on that one. And that's my writer's block, but I'm coming out of it now. Had a talk with the girls, and I was not the nicest at that time, but okay.
But well, it all goes in the book, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Good and the bad is what, right, makes up life.
Yep.
It's not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the good. So
Great.
yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I just read something. It's such a great little quote and idea. There's winning and learning.
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
Okay. Yes, it is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, everybody, thanks for listening. Thank you, Janice. And it
I
was
thank you, Kathy.
thank you.
Okay.
Same to you.
I'm looking forward to Karen tomorrow, and it's been a delightful evening for me. Okay.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to go to bed.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love.